Hello, viewers. Welcome to BharatShakti.in. I am Brigadier Chatterjee, editor BharatShakti.in. Today, we're going to be launching a new series, the Neighborhood series. In this series, we'll bring you stories of our neighboring countries and an analysis of our relationship with them. The first episode of this particular series will be about Myanmar. Myanmar is one of our critical neighbors. It's also been a disturbed country for a long, long time. Right now, the military is back in power. And to give you a little bit of history to put everybody on the same page, there was a coup which was staged by the military, or the military came into power based on that. And this has the background of the elections in November 2020, which the military thought were fraudulent. They went to the Supreme Court of Myanmar. However, the Supreme Court didn't quite go along with the Myanmarese military. So today we have a situation when once again Myanmar is under military control. I have with me as guest Lt Gen PR Shankar. General Shankar had been the Director General Artillery. He is also a professor in IIT Chennai. Welcome to the show, General.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks for inviting me over to the show. Wish you at bharatshakti.in a very happy new year, and all your listeners also a very happy new year. It's a very important thing that you're starting this year with a series on the neighborhood, and you started with Myanmar, which is in considerable turmoil and which is of great importance to India.
Right, General. Happy New Year to you also, and of course, Happy New Year to all our viewers who've come on board. Let us say this time this year. Right. Let's get on with Myanmar, General. Are you aware of the coup? You're aware of the situation over there. There's been a lot of violence, more violence than Myanmar has seen in the last couple of years, at least. My questions are actually got three issues in it. The first one is the political and the security angle. What is the status over there in Myanmar? And the last one is the refugee problem. Is there a refugee influx in the neighborhood in other countries also? What is the status really?
Uh, right. At this point of time, as you know, the military junta is fully in power, right? And they're carrying out a huge crackdown on the country. And there are a lot of rebel outfits which have come up all over the state, right? And every day you hear reports of violence, and you also hear reports of massacres and all that. In all this, Aung San Suu Kyi has been imprisoned. She's been sentenced to 6 years, 2 plus 4 years in prison on trumped up charges like not following coronavirus rules and all that. And let's be very clear, the she's not going to be let out, and neither is the army going to let them out. As far as the refugees are concerned, the situation is bad. Refugees are going towards Thailand. They're going the other side to Cambodia. In fact, the Cambodia has started, reaching out to the military and giving them a line of support. They're also coming towards our side, and especially in the Rakhine state where the Rohingyas, they're also in trouble. So there's a general turmoil. There is a refugee problem, there is a massacre problem, the military is in absolute control, and they're not going to let go. This is the sum as of today.
Right, General, I suppose this chaos is there, and the military wanted just 1 year military rule. That's a military, or you can say state of emergency that they had declared, and that too is allowed by their constitution. So, whatever it be, I think Myanmar is in the kind of trouble that you have. What has been the response? Let's divide it into two again. The Western countries normally have a different response as compared to China. So, if you can give us about the Western countries, and if you can give us about the response of the Chinese.
See, the Western countries, the best they're able to do is put sanctions. They're not having any effect on the Myanmarese government at this point of time, right? Uh, but Russia has influence, and it's not coming out very clearly as to what Russia is doing in this entire setup. So that's the thing. Uh, yeah, there are sanctions put, and also US. There are reports that US is doing something which is not very clear. But China is playing a very great game. They are not interested who rules Myanmar. They are pragmatic about the whole affair. They want to achieve their strategic objectives with whoever. Earlier, they were pally with Aung San Suu Kyi. Now they're pally with the military, right? They are planning for their CMEC, that is the China Myanmar Economic Corridor, and they are actively lobbying for the port, right? Kaikafu in the Indian Ocean. And the moment that China Myanmar Economic Corridor from the Yunnan province comes down, right, to this thing, they have a entry into the Indian Ocean, right? And this is something which we need to be conscious of. There's also a refugee problem towards China, but China has sealed off all its borders on that side, right? And when as we're talking, a point came to me. I just thought I'll put it across. They say in Myanmar, the army or the Tatmadaw is not the problem, and they have to be part of every solution. And on the other hand, Aung San Suu Kyi is not the solution, but she's part of every problem, right?
Okay.
So that's the politics which are this thing. Uh, she's also not above board. At one point of time, she was with the army. They have had a fallout. Well, that's how Myanmar history and politics goes on.
Right. But whatever it be, General, that's a very important country for us. And our response is actually, there are factors which are very different when it comes to the Indian response to Myanmar because we've got our insurgents based over there. And we've got Myanmar is also our gateway to further east. So, what do you think are the factors which will influence our response?
See, India has some very specific interests in Myanmar. First and foremost, Northeast or entire Northeast state, Nagaland and Mizoram and Manipur have ethnic links on the other side, right? Some of our Northeast insurgents use Myanmar as their base also, right? So that is one part of the story. The second thing is, Myanmar uh, gives you the third line of communication through the sea to into the northeast, right? So that it gives you a strategic alternative. Then we have this look east policy and the trilateral highway, which is to go through Bangladesh and Myanmar onto Thailand, right? And that was to be extended up to Japan as a counter to the BRI. So that is also there, and then you have there's a connectivity to the ASEAN. Okay, so there is a whole lot of things. Then we don't want China to have an outsized presence there. If China gets into the China Myanmar economic corridor tomorrow flourishes, it turns the entire northeast. We are facing China in the north. Suddenly, you have to start facing it in the east, and you have to contend with the fact that they have access to Bay of Bengal, just north of our Andaman Nicobar. Okay, and the Indo-Pacific and the Quad strategy is also at risk if Myanmar goes the Chinese way. So we have tremendous interests out there. It is just that are we doing enough? That's a matter of debate.
Right. Thanks, Janil. That was, I think, very well explained. And now my last question to you. You see, the West is going to cry democracy, 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 and well, but we perhaps got to be more pragmatic in our approach. There are neighbors, and like you brought out, the kind of stakes that we have in Myanmar are enormous. So, what are the steps that could possibly be taken globally? That's, of course, globally some steps are required. What are they? What are those steps? And if you could emphasize a little more on what are the steps that the Indians could take.
See, let me first focus on the Indian steps and then we'll look at the global steps. My view is that India should take the lead in stabilizing Myanmar. As of now, ASEAN is trying to take the lead. As ASEAN has taken the lead, China has put forth the pawn through Cambodia, right? Without directly interfering. So that's a danger. Okay. So, I think we have to take the lead. Why? One of the things is that India has the best credentials with the people, with Aung San Suu Kyi and the military. Okay, they trust India, and this is something we are not utilizing fully, right? I think we need to do that, and then we need to stabilize and get them to the table to start, talking to each other, and we have to go through this thing. In fact, we have, I think, waited on the sidelines far too long, and I'm of the opinion that if we get into it, they will start listening to us. It will take time, but that's it. And we need to push them back into some mode of democracy and some mode of order, and not this senseless killing and rebellion which is going on, because it's going to affect our northeast states very badly. Okay. Now, what is the global thing? If India has the thing to do it, India can lead the global effort, right? As part of Quad, part of the Indo-Pacific construct, use its good offices with ASEAN, use its good offices with Japan. Japan also has got a lot of interest in Myanmar, right? Russia, after all, Putin has just come to India and gone back. So, and Russia has a great influence in Myanmar. So we can, Russia has got a great influence in Myanmar because a lot of weapons for the Myanmarese army are Russian based. So we can become the pointsman. We can also take USA along. We could, this is something which we need to do. And unless right now the Western powers and the global powers don't have a leg to stand on there, and whatever leg is there to stand on is been taken over by China, right? As a result, there's no solution to the problem. Okay, so I think India has a role to play, which for reasons best known to our government, we are shying away.
Thank you, General. I think that was a very fine update. The whole aim of this particular series is to give our viewers a little bit of an update. Thanks for sparing the time and joining us.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, sir.
And thank you, viewers. Thanks for logging on to bharatshakti.in. And please do keep logging on, let us now and then, and you'll find such interesting stories. Thank you.